The oxygen alarm blared through the spacecraft as Dr. Chen realized with horror that the experimental algae cultures humanity's best hope for sustainable life support on Mars were dying, just hours before the Northrop Grumman CRS-23 launch to the International Space Station. Maya's hands trembled as she frantically checked readings on her tablet. 3 years of research, $240 million in funding, and the future of long-duration space exploration hung in the balance. If she couldn't stabilize the cultures before launch, NASA would pull her experiment from the mission. But something else gnawed at her. Why were perfectly healthy specimens suddenly failing? The answer seemed just beyond her grasp, like a distant star she could see but never reach. Dr. Chen, we need your final confirmation for payload loading in 30 minutes. Came Flight Director Harlow's voice through her headset. Maya stared at the sealed containers, each holding what should have been thriving blue-green microorganisms engineered to produce oxygen at unprecedented efficiency. Her career, her dreams, everything she'd sacrificed for this moment, including her relationship with fellow scientist James, who now worked on the ISS, all seemed to be evaporating before her eyes. She made a desperate decision. Bypassing 3 safety protocols, Maya extracted a sample directly from the primary culture chamber. Under the microscope, she saw something impossible. The algae weren't dying. They were transforming. The genetic modifications were expressing in ways her team had never predicted, creating a completely novel, photosynthetic pathway. But was it dangerous or miraculous? She had minutes to decide whether to report this anomaly and risk mission scrub, or remain silent and potentially send something unknown into space. The countdown continued as Maya made her choice. The CRS-23 cargo resupply mission launched on schedule, carrying her experiment and its secrets toward the International Space Station. As the Antares rocket pierced the clouds above Wallop's flight facility, Maya watched through tear-filled eyes, wondering if she'd just made the greatest discovery or the worst mistake of her life. 2 weeks later, Maya sat rigid in mission control, watching live feed from the ISS as astronaut James Harrington, her former fiancé, prepared to activate her experiment. Their relationship had ended when he accepted the long-duration mission, choosing space over their future together. Now, ironically, her work was literally in his hands, beginning activation sequence for experiment CH-217. James said professionally, giving no indication of their shared history. Maya held her breath as he opened the sealed container. The modified algae had been in stasis during transit. What would they find? James's sharp intake of breath came through the comm system. Houston, we're seeing unusual activity in the culture chambers. The algae appear to be responding to presence, almost like the transmission cut abruptly. James, Maya called out, forgetting protocol. The video feed showed James backing away from the experiment, his face pale. Then the station's emergency lights began flashing and the feed went dark. For 17 excruciating minutes, Mission Control worked frantically to re-establish contact with the ISS. When communications finally resumed, the station commander appeared instead of James. Houston, we've contained the situation. Dr. Harrington is in medical isolation. The algae culture released an airborne compound when exposed to the station environment. He was the only one exposed. Maya felt the room spinning around her. What are his symptoms? She demanded. The commander hesitated. That's the thing, Dr. Chen. He's not ill. He says he can communicate with your algae. They're responding to his thoughts. The revelation stunned the scientific community. The modified algae had developed a form of rudimentary consciousness and could form a symbiotic neural connection with humans. James, having been first exposed, had the strongest connection. Over the following weeks, tests confirmed the algae could enhance human cognitive function, while humans, in turn, could direct the algae's growth and oxygen production with mere thought. Maya was granted emergency clearance to join the next crew rotation to the ISS. As the spacecraft docked with the station, her heart pounded with scientific excitement and personal dread. She hadn't seen James' face in over a year, not since their painful goodbye when he chose the stars over their relationship. The airlock cycled open. There stood James, his eyes now with a subtle luminescent quality, a side effect of his symbiosis with the algae. "Maya," he said softly, "they've been waiting for you. They recognize you from your DNA in the lab. They consider you their mother." Working together in close quarters, Maya and James rediscovered the connection they'd lost. Late one night in the station's observation module, surrounded by the glow of Earth below and stars above, James took her hand. "The algae showed me something I couldn't see before," he whispered. "When I left Earth, I thought I was choosing between space and you. I never realized I could have both." Their research progressed rapidly, but a new crisis emerged. The symbiotic relationship was becoming too strong. James's vital signs were increasingly synchronized with the algae's photosynthetic cycle. Medical scans showed the algae's neural network was integrating with his nervous system. If the connection continued growing, they might become one entity, neither fully human nor fully plant. "We have to sever the connection," Meyer insisted during a tense video conference with NASA headquarters. "We don't understand the long-term effects, and lose the most significant breakthrough in space exploration history," countered the mission director. "These organisms could make Mars habitation possible decades ahead of schedule. One astronaut's sacrifice. He's not a sacrifice." Maya shouted, surprising herself with the outburst. Later, alone with James in the lab module, she fought back tears. "I can't lose you again, not like this." James touched her face gently. "What if it's not about losing, but transforming? The algae don't want to consume me, Maya. They want to communicate through me. They're trying to show us something." The final breakthrough came unexpectedly. While monitoring James's brainwaves during sleep, Maya noticed patterns matching those observed in deep meditation. On impulse, she connected herself to the monitoring equipment and focused her thoughts on the algae culture. Immediately, the organisms responded, forming patterns that the computer translated into mathematical sequences. "It's a language," Maya realized, "not just simple responses. They're trying to teach us something." Working together, Maya and James deciphered the algae's message, a more efficient photosynthesis process that could revolutionize oxygen production in space and on Earth. The organisms weren't trying to take over. They were offering a gift, a partnership between species that could help humanity reach further into the cosmos than ever before. As their mission neared its end, Maya and James made their decision. They would return to Earth together with a controlled sample of the algae, maintaining the connection but with safeguards. Their research would continue under careful protocols, exploring the potential of this unprecedented symbiotic relationship. On their last night aboard the ISS, they floated in the cupola, Earth glowing blue below them. "I never thought a cargo resupply mission would change the course of human history," James said, holding Maya close. "Or bring us back together. Science has always been about connections," Maya replied, watching the algae culture glow softly in its container, between molecules, between ideas, between people. Their story of discovery, separation, and reunion against the backdrop of unprecedented scientific breakthrough captured the world's imagination. The Northrop Grumman CRS-23 mission, originally just another resupply flight, became known as the mission that opened a new chapter in humanity's relationship with life itself and the cosmos. If this journey of scientific discovery and rekindled love touched something in you, remember that exploration of space, of knowledge of the heart, continues every day. Share this story with others who look up at the stars and wonder what connections await us there. The universe has more stories to tell, and together we'll be there to hear them.